It's fireworks season, and as you can see, Harris is really bothered. Well, there's no mistaking the colours of autumn now, is there? Look at this. It's all leaf litter now. There's still a few leaves on the tree, but they're all turning. Not a lot left. And I've been checking out the fungus around this little grove of oaks. It's all oak milkcap, nothing exciting, nothing interesting particularly. But yeah, nice time of year. I like this time of year. This little hobbit hole leads to a little bit of woodland, which I've filmed in before. In fact, most of the screaming engines, as I call them, most of those terrible musical instruments that I've made, I've actually brought them down here to film them, because there's this little hollow down here, this dip, where we're about as far from all the local houses as you can get anywhere around here. So of course, if I'm down there in that little dip, in that pit, if I make a noise, I'm not going to disturb anyone, especially as I come down here and do it early in the morning generally. So yeah, it's got this, I was going to say blasted tree. I think it was initially blasted, but someone has since put a fire in there. But you know, it's as healthy as it ever was. That tree is as healthy as it ever was. It's a beauty, isn't it? And I must sculpt something at some point. I've got an idea to sculpt something looking as if it's climbing out of that hole. I think that'll be fun, won't it? I think that might be a smoky bracket. There's usually a fair bit of fungus down here, particularly parasols, edible parasols, but haven't seen any yet. But it's nice to have a little bit of an explore. Let's have a look. This is also popular with local kids because it's got all these dips. See? You go sort of up and then you go down. And then you go up and then you go down. And then you go up again, and then you go down again. And then down here, there's a particularly good dip. Look at this one. So all the kids come up here on their BMXs and their trail bikes, and they love it. But I'm not seeing any sign of any parasols. This is the sort of area they grow. So we're going to go up here and we're going to cut through out onto the main field, and we'll walk up from there. This big field is the one that we were supposed to be getting sheep on this year, and it never happened for whatever reason, but I don't know whether you can quite see through that gap. I'll try zooming in. Can you see the sheep in the field beyond there? They've actually put them over there for the moment, so at least he has got some sheep on the farm. Meanwhile here, the big meadow just seems to be a feeding ground for roe deer, because there's 4 out there at the moment. I wish my camera had more of a zoom on it, but just from this distance it's a joy to see. Aren't they lovely? There's one there who's been watching me the entire time I've been standing here. I think it's probably the stag. And yeah, not eating like the others, just constantly staring at me, and probably staring at the pug, to be honest, although, but he's about as much threat as Kermit the Frog. He's not going to be much of an issue. Lovely, look at that, roe deer, wild roe deer, out on a meadow. That's made my day. How bizarre, a lone buttercup. What on earth has made this decide to flower at this time? There isn't another buttercup anywhere in these 44 acres of fields and meadows. Not one. And yet this one's decided the time was right. I like this little interchange between fields because it crosses over 2 little woodland paths, and it's got some strangely sculptural trees. I like the way all these trees cross over each other at this point to make this complex sigil or sign. That God knows what it would mean. But anyway, yeah, as I said, there's two little woodland paths here. There's one that goes down there and there, and there's another that goes down here. See, or you can go out into the what we call the ash field, because it's got all these ash trees, these little ash groves. And just over yonder, beyond the ash trees and that sort of scrubland, there is quite an area that's kept rough and wild, and that's where in the past on these videos you've seen me watching foxes and roe deer and all sorts that live in amongst there. It almost feels like there's a mist today because there's so much water in the air. So many tiny little droplets. I mean, I'm not actually getting wet, although my beard is wet. But it is, you can feel the dampness on your skin as you're walking along. This is the field I saw the deer in a couple of days ago. Can't see any sign of them today. Although there might be some just up there where there's that slightly lighter patch of material. I can see something lying down there, I think. But always a treat when you spot them. Not that you care, do you? You hunting beast. Put your tongue away. Look like a drooling idiot. Here's my favourite natural arch, which has been bent over from the weight of all of this ivy. Look at this though. Isn't it beautiful? I featured it on here a few times previously, but oh, it's just dug underneath a minute. But that knotwork from the ivy, it's just amazing, isn't it? And at the far end down here, which is as thick as my wrist, it's beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. Nature's quite good at making lovely things, isn't it? Even pugs. Well, in amongst all the doom and gloom of world events, some good news for a change. I'm a granddad again. One of my daughters had a little boy this morning at 8 o'clock on the 8th of November, so that's fantastic news. In fact, there's a lot of 8s there. 8 o'clock, it's the 8th, and he was £8 8 ounces. So, yeah, could be auspicious. But hey, numbers are just constructs anyway, aren't they? I mean, what we consider to be lucky and unlucky in the West, like the number 13 being unlucky and number 7 being lucky, it's very different elsewhere. In China, for example, the unlucky number's 4. So, but nevertheless, it's lucky for me because I'm a granddad again. Yeah, and another new little nipper and toddler to play with. Hurrah! Keeps you young. Keeps you young. Oh, the deer are back again, and they're a little bit closer. Still not so close that my zoom on my phone's any good, but they're a little bit closer. Only 3 of them today. At least I think it's only 3. I can only see 3. And there's that one who's watching me very closely as usual. It's so nice to see them though. I mean, these are wild roe deer. This isn't a farm. Well, that's a farm over there where the sheep are. But this is farm fields, but they're not fenced in at all. These are actually wild roe deer. Isn't it lovely to see? A shorter than usual miscellaneous meander this week, but there hasn't been a massive amount to report. Plus, of course, I've been really busy, what with grandsons appearing and 2 photo shoots and various other things going on as well. And I have a day job as well. But things will get back to normal next week. But in the meantime, thanks very much for watching. If you like this sort of thing, please like and subscribe. Lots more interesting stuff coming up in the near future. And I'll see you in the next video. Toodle pip. And don't forget that our Neopagan Wheel of the Year calendar is now available to pre-order. UK residents simply scan the QR code. Overseas customers email us at copa.artist@gmail.com and we'll try and work out the cheapest way of posting it to you. Thanks very much. If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing, or click on some of these links to look at some of the other videos on the channel, or press the like button, or leave a comment. It would be lovely to hear from you. Any combination of those 4 things would be wonderful. Thank you very much.